Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the relatively common rock-type Pokemon Rolycoly, its uncommon rock-fire-type evolution Carkol, and its rare final evolution Coalossal, the three collectively known as the Coal Pokémon. Though they might not come off as the most mobile of creatures out there, the members of the Rolycoly family are unique rocky beasts that can more than bring a bit of heat to the fray when their time comes.
Rolycoly have stony bodies made from fused piles of coal with a single large stony wheel on their underside they use for locomotion. The energy core inside of them burns brightly to give them life, as seen in the sole bright orange eye that adorns the front of their form. The evolved form, Carkol, have larger body frames that form a large cart of sorts that holds the burning coal that keeps them alive. They are able to move more quickly thanks to the four wheels that adorn the bottom of their hardened frame, while the eyes have turned white as the mouths now glow an orangish-red color from the heat being generated inside of them. Their final evolution, Coalossal, trade their cart-like previous form for a fully articulated stone body with hands and feet that have 3 stony digits each, having adopted a bipedal stance. Their jagged glowing mouths give them a fierce look to their face, while the stone spires that sprout from their shoulders help to highlight the massive pile of coal that resides on their back, fueling their powers as needed. It is lastly noted that Coalossal have a unique Gigantamax form to them, in which they grow to a monstrous size with a large craggy peak of coal stacked on their forms, as the insides become partially visible through tears in their rocky bodies, showing off the terrifying furnace that is their interior cavity. First discovered 400 years ago in a coal mine, the members of the Rolycoly family are unique among Pokemon in that, like the members of the Rock and Roller family, they contain no organic material in their bodies at all, instead being almost entirely comprised of coal and coal byproducts in their case. This strange existence is made possible by a special energy core that lies at the heart of their forms, and while not as energetic as that found in the Rock and Roller family, they are still able to use it to animate their bodies and operate in a fairly intelligent state. However, in order to fuel their bodies and keep themselves moving, these creatures must burn coal as a primary energy source, which, not surprisingly, makes them very common to see in the coal-laden mines of the Galar region.
Because of this, these creatures are almost completely limited to these sorts of environments, and only otherwise appear in very rocky terrain where there may be coal deposits just beneath the surface.
As they grow and develop, these creatures will become more capable of using their forms to harness fire as a power alongside their normal rock-type attributes. But as they are, they can still make themselves into formidable beasts with impressive offenses and defenses, and are harder to tackle than most other rock types with water-type assaults as a consequence of the signature steam engine ability. This special ability boosts their speed stat to its maximum possible value if they are hit by a fire or water-type attack, making it possible for these stony beasts to accelerate far past the movement speeds of opponents in many cases, and in turn, deliver devastating strikes before anything can readily stop them. Aside from this, it is also possible for Rolycoly to be able to take heat-based attacks with great efficiency and also having access to heat-proof as a base ability, while the evolutions can otherwise use their adopted fire-type attributes to burn others with flame body as a base ability instead, and the whole lot of them can potentially have enough carbon-rich material in them to intensify the power of their fire-type attacks when heated further, granting all members of the family access to flash fire as a hidden ability. As far as the stats are concerned, in the case of Coalossal, it can be seen that these creatures do not have much to speak of in the way of mobility and are a bit lacking in the way of power, but they can withstand damage fairly well as a whole and make decent use of their offensive traits in a fight, having an above-average base special attack stat for a fully evolved rock-type Pokemon, an above-average base special defense stat for a fully evolved fire-type Pokemon, and above-average base HP and defense stats for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, ensuring that they can take a decent beating and deliver one in turn. At a young age, Rolycoly cannot burn their internal coal reserves as efficiently as their evolved forms, so they primarily only learn normal and rock-type moves as they grow and develop. But this suits them just fine, as they are able to make the most of their attacks at this stage of development. In order to move around, these creatures travel on a single wheel like a unicycle, balancing themselves readily over rough terrain, and overall being far more mobile than their appearances might otherwise denote.
The glowing heat inside of them mainly escapes through small holes in their frame, but the raging fire inside of them can be readily seen through their single eye, which glows brightly enough that it can be used to illuminate dark caves.
Of course, given that Rolycoly are made out of coal, and seemingly have the ability to generate more simply by rolling over and carbonizing plant matter, these creatures were once a staple in the homes of every person in Galar 100 years ago, when coal was still the go-to heating fuel. And even today, the coal droppings they sometimes leave behind are used in homes and for cooking across the region. Even in the modern day, these creatures still have much utilitarian usage among the many campers that live in the Galar region, and they are surprisingly easy to take care of as long as they have material to burn. It is noted, however, that these creatures find a natural enemy in Dwebble because of their penchant for taking coal-rich rocks and using them for homes, so caution is recommended if a confrontation between these two takes place, as Rolycoly can become quite aggressive if provoked by the sighting of fuel that doesn't come to them so easily. When Rolycoly evolve into Carkol, their bodies become much more efficient at burning coal as they can burn it at a much higher temperature, and because of this, their control over fire becomes much greater, allowing them to learn the flame charge attack as soon as they evolve and effectively become partial fire types. While this does render them more vulnerable to certain types of attacks, it also allows them to make good use of the few fire type attacks they can get naturally, as well as grant them access to the burn-up attack late in life. These beasts are able to spew flames from their bodies at temperatures of over 1800 degrees Fahrenheit and can thus make themselves a noticeable threat in close quarters where their flames can reach. Getting near them is an unwise decision, as they are hot to the touch and can cause severe burns if direct contact is made. Moreover, they are far more mobile than their pre-evolved form on account of traveling on 4 wheels instead of just one, adding stability to their motions. While still not extremely fast, they can dash up to 18 miles per hour and thus have some decent speed at their side for a Pokemon of their type, and given that their bodies are made out of burning coal, this can make it very difficult to stop them once they get started. The only real weakness they have is that they are extremely weak to water and ground-based attacks, but they can still be a nuisance to deal with if their fiery powers cannot be completely suppressed.
When Carkol evolve into Coalossal, they lose their speedy wheels and experience a moderate drop in their base speed stat. But this is more than made up for by an increase to the other stats and a much stronger, tougher form as a whole.
These creatures can burn coal at a much higher temperature compared to their pre-evolved forms, at temperatures of around 2700 degrees Fahrenheit, and as a result, they have a tendency to reduce their fuel source into a thick liquid tar as a byproduct. This works well for them though, as they can use this as part of their signature tar shot technique, which is acquired immediately after evolution, to slow down targets and make them more vulnerable to damage from fire-type attacks. Despite their imposing forms, Coalossal are actually fairly peaceful creatures and do not like having to get into conflicts with others. If the mines and caverns they call home are vandalized, however, they will fly into a rage and will burn down those that have offended their territory. Being near these creatures is often a bad idea, as when they are enraged, the small mountain of coal stacked in their bodies will burn bright red and send up sparks that can scorch the surrounding landscape, igniting the terrain and making them a terrifying force to have to face in battle. Their slow, pondering steps can make it hard to get a serious speed advantage in battle in nearly any situation because of how much their fuel source weighs them down, which is also why they need flat feet and not wheels to support themselves. But what these beasts lack in mobility, they more than gain in power and the capacity to both crush and burn those that dare to oppose their might.
Lastly, it is noted that Coalossal is one of only a select number of species of Pokemon capable of undergoing the process of Gigantamaxing, with specific members of the species taking on a unique form when they are Dynamaxed in battle.
In this state, these creatures' bodies become colossal stoves, with flames of over 3600 degrees Fahrenheit burning inside, fueled by the Dynamax energy flowing through them. Their bodies are so hot in fact that in ancient times during a harsh cold wave, these creatures served as titanic heating stoves and helped save the lives of many from the bitterly cold outside. While this might only be a temporary state for them, the immense power that flows through them while in this state allows Coalossal to utilize a unique G-Max move known as G-Max Vocalith, which takes the standard Max Rockfall attack and infuses it with extra heat energy to create a scorching rocky battlefield on the opposing side that deals continuous damage to the opposition, allowing these monsters as a whole to use their Dynamax power to the fullest to keep damaging anything that would dare to face them in combat over time.
These stony beasts might not have the raw offensive power that most might expect to see from such colossal creatures, but they can more than intimidate anything that tries to stand against them if one isn't able to exploit their biggest weaknesses. They can prove to be quite cute and fun to play with at a young age, But if you want to keep having that fun, you'll need to learn to wear special protection while handling them if you don't want to get seriously burned. They can literally be too hot to handle, and tend to like using that to their advantage, getting close to others with the hopes of using their forms to scorch or at least hurt their opponents a little bit through direct contact, and that kind of thing can really get your goat if you're not careful. Thankfully, they are at least easy to raise naturally, so there shouldn't be too many problems there, so long as one is willing to stick with them until their greatest powers emerge.
Though the likes of water and earth might make them easy targets, the members of the Rolycoly family are still impressive creatures that can more than wield the power of fire and rock in order to quash those that would dare to confront them. They might be sitting ducks of sorts against most other Pokemon in terms of mobility, but their sturdy defenses can otherwise render them dangerous fighters to go up against and not worth underestimating in any situation.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you've got something to keep you protected against direct contact, much as my wife said. Otherwise, even the friendliest of gestures from them might leave a searing mark, and those that enrage them might quickly find themselves added to the pile of carbon-rich material in their forms after getting roasted by these monstrous stoves.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.